Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching 90 Day Fiancé. Can't wait to watch. Let's watch.
So the questioning at the time of entry, get clear that it's a vacation. Then you're going to travel onward to the United States. So I think the way you answer, thought you were suspicious.
I am blown away by the information. I'm so grateful.
So, should have consulted with her beforehand, but this is good that they're getting some expert opinion. I don't know how accurate the lawyer's guesses are in the situation. She's speculating about the Mexican authorities' reaction to the way Amira answered the questions, but at least her opinion is more sound than Andrew or Amira's, so this is good. And so let's see her. Maybe she'll say, no, this is what you do, or she'll say, no, there's really no way that you're going to get this to work.
And so we're thinking right now about trying this plan again in Serbia.
Tried what you're doing successfully, in which they stay in a different country. So you might be okay in Serbia.
I'm just thinking about if my visa comes to expiration, there will not be any extension possible.
Okay, so they're talking about the Serbia option, and the attorney said, yeah, it can work, so it might work for you. It's not very reassuring. I mean, it's kind of reassuring, but it doesn't sound like the attorney knows specific information about Serbia. She just said, yeah, I've seen people do that in various different countries, so it can work. So maybe there isn't anyone on the planet that really knows the landscape given how new the pandemic was during this time.
All right.
Right. Usually there is no extension. However, if the visa expired due to circumstances beyond your control, you could ask that your visa be reissued.
Right. That's what some people were saying in the comments below. They were saying, I don't know why they're rushing this situation. With a K-1 visa, the government will usually grant an exception where you can get another one down the line if there's some major thing that happens, such as a massive pandemic. So the lawyer is informing them of that.
So I think you would have good grounds on that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure
you
meeting
so
you,
much.
and I hope it all works out.
The lawyer is validating everything that I've put forward and giving me a lot of confidence that this plan actually does work.
Okay, so that's it. Me and Andrew are hearing the lawyer's statements differently. What I heard the lawyer say was, yeah, I don't know anything about Serbia in particular, but I have heard of other situations working like that where you self-quarantine in another country. And as long as you answer the questions in a way that doesn't trigger the authorities to lock you up for a few days, then you're okay. But how is Amira supposed to know what to say? Because you could also get locked up if you're like, oh, I'm here in Serbia for a vacation. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to go to the hotel, and then I'm going to go to the United States after this. Well, that doesn't sound like a vacation to me. Oh, well, you know, and when you're talking to customs agents and you seem shady, then that usually triggers an investigation or a detention or something. So anyway, the point is that what I heard the lawyer say was the extension is an option that you can appeal to have the K-1 visa lapse and then ask the government to issue a new one because of the circumstances. That seems pretty, she said you'd have a pretty good case for that. And regarding going to Serbia, I don't know about Serbia, but I do know that some people are making that work in other countries. For Andrew heard that as like Serbia is 100% going to work, which is interesting. And it lends itself to the hypothesis that I've had, which is that Andrew is so desperate for closeness and attachment that he needs this to work. And he is willing to overlook Amira's feelings, overlook any kind of danger, overlook any kind of red flags because he is so desperate for this to work.
You know, the clock is ticking on this thing. So, I mean, like, we have a chance. Like, it's right there. It's a 2-hour flight for you. What do you think?
Okay, so he's asking her, what do you think? He's obviously trying to convince her. But it would make sense. He presumably loves her and wants to see her, so he's trying to advocate for them being together, which makes sense, right? Now, let's see what Amira can say. Does Amira know what she wants? I'm pretty sure she is scared and hesitant to do this Serbian option, particularly since the dad said, I'm never going to talk to you again if you do this. I think that's what the dad said. So can Amira say something in this moment to Andrew about what she wants and how she feels about the situation? Because if she doesn't, then we can look at this relationship and go, oh, I think now I know why this dynamic is happening. But if she stands up for herself and she really speaks from the heart and she really states what she feels, she really tells Andrew, I appreciate what you're saying and I want to see you too, but da-da-da-da-da, then we can look at this situation a little different. This is a huge test that they haven't really presented to us yet on this show. Let's see what Amira says.
I was more inclined to do the reassurance thing.
Well, we have to wait for the embassies to open and all that stuff. But
Okay, so it was a little bit of indication. She didn't just completely please. She's like, I was a little bit more inclined to do the reissue thing. Now, more convincing statements would be helpful for the dynamic to work out. For Amira to say, I'm more inclined to do that because the Serbia thing freaks me out. And what I heard the lawyer say was they didn't really know if the Serbian option was going to work. They said it could work. And I just don't want to go through that again. And I don't want to take the risk, something more, but, it's a little bit. So now he is starting to make his case, which is fine. She said a little bit, but not a lot. We know that there's more behind that because we see the interviews away from Andrew. Maybe Andrew hasn't seen that sort of stuff, so he doesn't know. And so in this moment, he's trying to make his case, and he's getting a little disappointed, but makes sense. And so let's see what Amira does to how his response was.
baby, if you don't want to go to Serbia, you don't got to go to Serbia.
I don't believe. I believe that you're going to say it's my fault that.
Okay, interesting. So he says, hey, look, babe, if you don't want to go to Serbia, you don't have to go to Serbia. There's a little bit of hostility in that question. He could have said that if he was coming from a different place, he probably would have said it different. Like, hey, honey, if you don't want to go to Serbia, I don't want you to go to Serbia. And I'm asking a lot from you. And I'm sorry. It's not how he said it, right? He said it kind of in a, hey, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, kind of in a hostile way. At least that's the way I heard it. And then she says, let's rewind, because this is, I've been waiting all season to just see a back and forth between these two. So I'm gonna really concentrate on this. Let's rewind that.
Well, we have to wait for the embassies to open and all that stuff. But baby, if you don't want to go to Serbia, you don't got to go to Serbia.
I don't believe. I believe that you're going to say it's my fault that it take too long.
So I was interpreting hostility in his voice. It also could be hurt in his voice and worry of rejection, of him saying, look, if you don't love me, then you don't have to love me. I wonder if that's fueling kind of that, what he was saying. That's the vibe I'm getting from him, but I don't know. I'd have to ask him. And then she says, I don't trust that. You said if I don't want to go to Serbia, I don't have to go, but I don't believe you. I believe that you're going to blame me and you're going to punish me emotionally if this takes too long. That's a pretty solid statement from her. Let's see how he responds.
I will literally contact them tomorrow, and I will start on the whole process.
You told me I'm free to make a decision about Mexico. I told you, okay, but I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't want to do it. You told me, okay, fine. And then after you showed me, you were upset.
Okay, this is good. This is a great conversation for the two of them to have. I'm very happy they're having this. She is bringing it up. She's saying, I'm guessing they've never talked about this yet. She's saying, look, last time when we brought up Mexico, I was a little worried about it, and you said you were okay with me being, with doing either. You said you were flexible, but then you punished me. Let's rewind that and hear what she said there.
And I will start on the whole process.
You told me I'm free to make a decision about Mexico. I told you, okay, but I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't want to do it. You told me, okay, fine. And then after you showed me, you were upset.
Okay, so that's interesting that she says that you said you were fine, but then later you indicated to me you were upset. Now, what is that upsettedness? Is that him punishing her on purpose? Is that some sort of psychopathic lack of empathy, callous, I'm going to manipulate her motivation? Could be. It's not very likely. Or, which is more likely, this other option of I'm terrified of rejection. I'm worried she doesn't love me. I'm hurt that she doesn't want to put effort into this. And I'm sad. I don't know how to communicate that. So I'm going to be in a bad mood. I'm going to give her the silent treatment. I'm going to be a little forceful in this talk over here. And it's not a good way to communicate it. And then she perceives as, oh, he doesn't care about my feelings, and it's either his way or the highway. Whereas for him, he might be thinking, I don't know how to communicate my feelings, and I'm terrified she doesn't really love me, and I'm just trying to be cool over here, and I'm super anxious all the time. It wouldn't be uncommon for him to be in that position as well. So, okay, so she just laid it all out for him, and hopefully he can go, oh, is that what happened in the past? No, honey. Yeah, I was upset, but I hope to God that you could believe me. I wasn't upset at you for not wanting to consider Mexico. I was just so desperate to see you, just something along those lines. And I was disappointed about that. But oh my God, do you believe that I was pressuring you? Because that's just the worst. Now, he's got to balance that out with, there's kind of a message there where she's saying, I'm not fully into this plan, which is to be with you. Now, that's not necessarily what she's saying, but he could interpret it that way, right? And that could hurt him. But anyway, let's see how he responds here.
You're blaming me for Mexico, baby.
No, I'm not blaming you, but I'm just telling you I'm scared that his story repeats itself.
Okay, so it's normal to be triggered in that way. And I see this all the time on my couch where the person is saying something and I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm like, oh, there's a lot there. And then the recipient just hears like a tiny little sliver and he focuses on that. It's like, oh, you're blaming me for Mexico? That wasn't my fault. That was a little bit of what she was saying, but that certainly wasn't the gist of what she was saying. The gist of what she was saying was, you said you were flexible, but then you got upset, and so I felt like I had to do this option, or else you were going to punish me emotionally, or you were going to leave me, or you were going to hold this over my head for the rest of my life, or something like that. So let's see if Amira can double down and really explain, no, I'm not blaming you for Mexico. I'm telling you, and then she says, history repeat itself. Let's see if she can kind of explain it more and get it through to him.
I'm scared you're gonna resent me or you're not gonna feel good.
I am literally telling you, the reissuance is fine, but yet you sit over there and squirm about it. And you want to bring up Mexico and blame that on me?
It's not true.
Okay, so it's good they're having a conversation, and hopefully they'll see their way through this. And I don't know, I'm mostly convinced that that's what the truth is from him, is like, look, I'm okay with the reissuance. I'm okay with that option. And now he's in a triggered state where he feels like she is blaming him for Mexico, which, she's saying, no, it's not true. So let's see if they can right the ship here, because I think this is a very important part of their relationship that needs to be worked out. She's saying, I don't like the way you react. You're very intense about persuading me for things. And when I disagree with you, you get real emotionally upset, at least in my eyes, which scares me because I don't want to upset you. And then I end up doing things that I don't want to do, which I feel like that's what happened with Mexico. I'm not blaming you for what happened in Mexico. I'm just blaming you for kind of pressuring me to do something that I kind of knew was going to be bad, and then it ended up being bad. So let's see if they can work that out. And then from Andrew's side, if he can say something like, I don't know, I wish that he would take a beat and go like, wait. So what are you saying to me? Let me understand what you're complaining about right now. Let's see if he can do that.
There's nothing I could say that comforts you here.
You know what happened to me. I just come back from jail.
You're acting like I'm not sensitive to that, baby.
It's your role to just reassure me, not getting mad at me for being worried.
I'm not mad at you, baby. I'm stuck in this place of frustration.
Okay, so they're kind of in this holding pattern of just defending themselves and not taking a beat. If one of them would say, okay, wait. What are you telling me? If Amira did that, she could be like, okay, wait. What are you telling me? And he's like, well, I'm telling you that I feel like you're blaming me. No, let me reassure you. I'm not blaming you for what happened in Mexico. I am blaming you for pressuring me in a way to do something that I didn't want to do. I do want to be with you. But before Mexico, I was like, I'm pretty sure, I was worried about it happening, about something bad happening. And then something bad did happen. And yeah, I'm angry at you for kind of what I felt like you were emotionally pressuring me. I don't know if you meant to do that, but that's how it came across to me. So if Amira did that, and then if he took a beat and said, wait, what are you saying? Okay, and Amira says, well, I'm just really frustrated with the way you try to pressure me to do things. And be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Tell me, what did I do that made you feel like I was pressuring you? Because it certainly wasn't my intention. If either one of them did that, then they could pull out of this sort of holding pattern of both defending their position. Let's see what they do.
It's not a good time for you to get frustrated.
I'm gonna just do whatever is laid before me on your path. You contact me if you want to go to Serbia. If not, that's fine too.
Yikes. She basically just said that she wants to have the reissuance of the K-1 visa. And now he is saying essentially an ultimatum, which I'm going to assume Amira has experienced before. Because remember, Andrew knows that he's being filmed right now, which is something to say. And he's saying, okay, fine, I don't know what to do, but if you want to go to Serbia, then fine, let me know. And if you don't, then we're done, is kind of the implication that he's giving. I don't think he is really I don't think he means that. I think that if she said, I don't want to do Serbia, I think he would still hold on to this relationship because I think he really wants it to work. But now we're starting to wonder, because this whole time, the question of the day with Andrew is, does he have the capacity for empathy and care? Does he actually have empathy and actually have compassion and can feel other people's feelings and care about other people's feelings? Or does he not? And there are people who do not care about other people's feelings. They're very rare. They're extremely rare individuals, but they do exist. Some of those individuals are very problematic in their lives. They're in and out of prison. They're con artists. They have a wake of destruction behind them. Other people like this who lack empathy for other people, they don't really have that wake of destruction behind them. But being close to them will feel very hurtful because they don't care about your feelings. And so they will come across to you like they don't really care. And it'll be very confusing because most people assume other people care about other people's feelings, but not everyone is like this. Again, what I'm talking about is a category of human being that is, 1 to 3% of the population, maybe as much as 5%, but usually I say about 3%. Research shows it's about 3%. So is he one of those people? One of those functioning individuals who has a hard time having, or just can't have empathy, just doesn't have empathy for other people? Or is he in the larger percentage of human beings who has impaired empathy, where the impairment is out of desperation, out of a deep fear, out of deep hurt, out of traumas in your past about abandonment? And in that moment, so let's just hypothesize, we don't know, but let's just say that Andrew has traumas around abandonment. And in this moment, there's this question hanging over his head. Does Amira love me, or is she going to abandon me? I'm pretty sure she's going to abandon me because everyone has abandoned me in my past. But I think she might love me, and I hope that she loves me. And if she says, yes, 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 Serbia, 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 then that will prove to me that she loves me. Anything other than that, that will indicate this is the beginning of the end, that I've seen so often where she doesn't really love me. And so everything hangs on her going to Serbia. All of my hopes and dreams for my entire life hangs on her going to Serbia. Very, narrow-minded point of view and desperation. And as she starts to indicate, I don't know if the Serbia, I don't know if I really like that. The lawyer gets on the line and says a few kind of things that I said earlier, and he hears that, okay, Serbia is an option. Please make Serbia an option, because that's the only way that I can reassure myself that I'm not going to be abandoned again. Oh no, she doesn't want to go to Serbia. Maybe she doesn't really love me. I'm angry, I'm hurt, and I don't care about your feelings. And fine, if it's Serbia or it's nothing. Okay, we could see a situation like that. Just because he's an adult doesn't mean that that's not going on underneath all that. Now, that's one of 100 different hypotheses that we would test with him. But it's an option that seems most likely given my experience with humans. Now, of course, that doesn't do any good for Amira because on her standpoint, she's like, what is happening right now? All I was saying was I wanted to do the extension, or I wanted to have the other, get another K-1 visa because of the pandemic. Why do we have to do this right now? Can't we wait a little bit? And now I'm getting yelled at. Now I'm getting this ultimatum. Now I'm being pushed yet again into the Serbia option, which I was pushed into the Mexico option. And I told him that I felt pushed, and now he doesn't seem to care, and he's pushing me into another option. What is going on here? I don't have assertiveness skills myself. I don't have a lot of experience with telling other people what I want. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose this relationship. I'm confused. This is a pretty awful situation. And there's a lot at stake here. I mean, in other situations, we don't really see this, where let's say she goes to Serbia and something horrible happens. Like, that's going to be awful if it happens.
Okay.
I love you with all my heart. I hope that you'll contact me with some sort of resolution.
Yeesh. Maybe Andrew will come to his senses later on and say, honey, I'm really sorry. You said you wanted to do the other K-1 visa, and I fully support that. I was triggered in the moment. I'm really sorry. Hopefully Andrew will do something like that. If you didn't know already, we have merch. You can click on the link below to get some of our merch. We have mugs and shirts and all that kind of stuff if you're interested. Also, I'm on Cameo, and a lot of you have partaken in the Cameo experience with me, which I really enjoyed. I didn't think I would as much as I would enjoy, because y'all will say, I'll tell my husband happy birthday, and I don't know, I feel like I'm connecting. It's a two-way street. I yammer at you on YouTube, and then you tell me about your life, and then I wish your husband happy birthday. It's just it's 360 or something. It's great. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.